You've heard
Right.
they say
I didn't want to butcher it.
No, don't worry. It's capital
Come on,
the
all
D,
the time.
yeah. Yeah, usually in these assignments after. Is that okay? Sound wise?
Can you guys hear her okay? I need to talk quieter probably.
I can speak louder? Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in Merced. We really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us and letting us talk to you today.
I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being here.
We're Hardly Heroes. We're a podcast dedicated to movies, TV, and everything geek related. I'm Buddy. This is James. So, we're super excited to have you. I did want to ask you, you're from Norway, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Now, what brought you out this way?
Well, I've been traveling a lot lately. Since November, I've sort of been on the road. And I went to LA like 2.5 months ago for a project. But this time more on the writing side of things. So I'm helping a friend, me and my partner, we're sort of co-creating a sci-fi show. But yeah, it's early days and I can't really say much at this.
No problem.
So and also to meet up with my agent and audition for roles in LA and so on. And then my agent said that there is a Comic-Con up in Merced, and since you're relatively close, she asked if I wanted to come, and I said sure. And so it was a great opportunity to see another part of California that I hadn't seen, and yeah, I'm very glad to be here.
Nice. Yeah, welcome. So is this your first con that you've ever been to?
It's the first I've done in California.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
I haven't done that many in the States yet, but I really like doing Comic-Cons here because I think American fans are like the most enthusiastic there is. I mean, the fans are enthusiastic, but it's like everywhere. But I feel in the US culture in particular, there is like a very deep connection with the film industry and the franchises. It's sort of the home ground of these franchises. So there's like an extra fervor around it. So it's great to meet the fans here and talk about all the nerdy stuff and yeah.
Yeah, we're so lucky that you have all these stars that live in LA. So like them traveling out to these cons in California, it's actually really easy for them because they don't have to go very far.
Yes.
So I guess we do get really lucky that we're able to have
Yeah.
so many of you guys able to come out and stuff like this. Being from Norway, it is beautiful there. I didn't think
Thank
you'd have a
you.
hard time leaving.
Yeah, I've been living abroad for 10 years now, and I do miss it. It is a really really wonderful place if you like nature and just quiet fjords and mountains. That's the place. So yeah, it's I do miss it. I do miss my family,
Yeah.
but I'm also very interested in learning as much as I can about the world and other cultures. So I feel like while I'm young and able and still have my 2 feet, I want to travel as much as I can
Yeah.
and learn as much as I can.
Do you have a favorite thing of being in the States? Like maybe like a favorite food or
Kombucha. I absolutely love the fermented tea thing.
yeah.
You can get it in Europe, but it's a bit pricey and like more rare. But like if I step into like a Whole Foods and there's like a whole aisle of kombucha, it's so good. So yeah, I think that's my number one thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always, wonder that because like going somewhere else, you're like, oh, there's that one thing that you'll always kind of be like stuck on.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like cheeseburgers or French fries, but kombucha, that's different. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. You want to talk about some of the history, like how you really from Norway to LA? That's a big jump. How did you first get out of Norway? Like, give us the story of like
Okay.
what led from you being in Norway to being one of the most iconic characters in all of film.
Well, I went to study in France and then in the UK. And while I was studying in the UK, I was asked at a pub one day by my friend if I wanted to be in his film. And I had done some acting, but only theatre when I was younger. I never thought of it as a career, but I liked it. But I was studying philosophy and history at the time and wasn't really thinking about acting at all. But then, because of this question, I was like, yeah, why not? So I said yes to this film, and then we did another film. And after I finished my master's, I was thinking, this is actually quite nice, because with acting you can combine so many different skill sets, and you're always learning something new with each role, and it's an opportunity to tell, well, sometimes at least you get to tell really wonderful stories that can have an impact. So I just sort of slowly did more and more auditions in London, and did all kinds of like shitty student films and no budget, no paid films, starting from like scratch bottom, and then slowly building a showreel and getting some headshots, and then over time I got an agent, and then I got Avengers quite early on. I think I'd only been acting for 5 months, so I didn't know anything about the industry or like anything. So and I didn't have an agent, so I just got an email because I'd signed up to this online casting site called Spotlight, and I guess I was lucky because they needed someone with a Norwegian accent, and there weren't that many Norwegian actresses, I guess. So they sent me an email and said if I wanted to come in for this role, but they couldn't tell me anything about the film. And I was like, that's odd. Like usually they tell a bit about the character, maybe give you parts of the script. Nothing. It's like, is this a porn film? So I almost didn't answer. But then, luckily, I googled the casting director, and I realized that he's done big stuff. So okay, it has to be something legit. And then I went in. I still didn't know what it was for. And then they called me a week later and said, "You got the part." I was like, "Yes, I don't know what it is, but yay!" And then they said it's a Marvel film. I was like, "Wow, that's big stuff." And then, but it was still. I still didn't know what it was, but I knew that Tony Stark was in it, so it was something to do with Iron Man, or yeah. And then on the way to the studio, the driver asked me like, "Oh, so you're in Avengers?" Like, yes, I am. It wasn't until I was like almost at the studio then I realized that it was Avengers: Age of Ultron. That's the level of secrecy in Marvel. So yeah, so that was a great experience, and that after that role, it sort of, I guess, opened a few doors, and I got an agent, and then eventually later on I got the Princess Leia part, which was unbelievable. But
that's crazy. So can you give us a little bit about? I mean, right? There's got to be some kind of NDA that's expired by now. What's it like being on set for a Marvel, Disney, super top secret, high budget film? That's got to be amazing.
I mean, in a way, it is similar to any other set. Like the basic parts are there, but it's just amplified. Like it's like an anthill. Like everyone is always buzzing around, and there's these little carts, like little golf carts, and people are very courteous and kind, and there's a good vibes. And especially with Lucasfilm, like people are so enthusiastic about working for Lucasfilm. Like you can tell that everyone I met were really like Star Wars fans, and they wear the same T-shirts, and like we do, like fan stuff, it was just unbelievable, and especially for my scene with like the fact that they built part of Tantive 4, the spaceship, and it felt really real. I really liked that they went as real as they could and tried to lessen the CGI, and that helped me as an actor too to feel that I was there, sort of channeling the character, and it was amazing.
That's really cool. How familiar with let's talk Star Wars since we're talking Star Wars.
Sure.
How familiar were you with Star Wars before, auditioning for this role that you probably didn't even know about, or anything else? Like anything else in the Star Wars world?
I grew up with the old Star Wars films thanks to my older brother, so I watched them again and again on VHS. They were just like part of my childhood. I remember dressing up as Leia for like carnival. We don't really do Halloween in Norway, but we have like carnival days and so on.
Please say you have a picture that's somewhere.
There must be a picture. My mom would photograph everything, but yeah, I should find that
We
picture.
gotta call
That
mom.
would
We
be, yeah.
gotta call mom Delia
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah, so yeah, I remember that, and I remember like playing with a stick and pretending it was a lightsaber, and I was Luke Skywalker, and so I was a fan, and I watched all the films. So for me to be part of this universe, I mean, yeah, I still can't believe it.
How jealous was your brother?
Well, I
I'm
think
saying
he
he got you into it. I can
yes,
imagine how.
yes. He was I think he was more just joyful. Yeah.
He's a
And
nicer
excited.
brother than me. I would have been upset. Yeah. So so how was it like? Because they put all the dots on your face, and
Yep.
how was it? In because you're embodying somebody else. Like how was that like? Because it's got to be a very unique experience as an actor.
Yes.
I would feel like so. I don't know if you can kind of.
Yeah, because usually when you prepare for a role, you have to make it your own, like interpret it and find like your way of bringing this character to life. But in this case, I had to put all of that aside and become a parrot, like really just mimic all the little micro expressions that we all have, but are particular to each person. So I went back to the old films and I studied Carrie Fisher. Like I would pause, like what did she do there with her eyes, and then do it again, and it was very like minuscule, very technical, and but I really enjoyed that, like really trying to become someone else. It was fascinating, but way more technical and difficult than any other role I'd ever done.
Yeah, I can imagine how hard that would be. Because, yeah, like every little like detail, like you're saying with your face and everything, that's really interesting.
Yes.
So being a part of the two biggest franchise, like Marvel is something that we've never really, like Marvel's been such a big thing, but now that the movies are so big, did you have a preference of Star Wars or Marvel that you were a bigger fan of now?
I think Star Wars still is my personal choice. I think it's because I got introduced to Star Wars earlier, like it's part of my childhood, and Marvel
Yeah.
came a bit
Later.
So maybe it could have easily been the reverse, maybe, I don't know, but
Yeah. Nice.
yeah. But I like some Marvel films too. But there's so many films now. I've sort of lost track. I've probably lost a few that I need to catch up on.
Yeah, 23, no big deal. It's not that many.
So I guess that puts you in rare company. Like you and Samuel L. Jackson are the only two to cross over between Star Wars,
Really?
Star Wars and Marvel.
Oh,
Any deep cut
Oh,
fans
yeah.
out there? No.
yeah, that's
So-
right. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That's,
So I'm interested in this. What you said about being a parent and like almost acting within acting. Trying to portray Princess Leia by Carrie Fisher. So you really had to put aside your own acting, like what you would have interpreted the character to be.
Yeah.
What was the? You kind of mentioned like going back and looking at footage. Did you have conversations with other people, with Carrie Fisher at the time, about how to do this?
No, I did all the prep myself. I was supposed to meet Carrie Fisher in London, but unfortunately it was getting really late and she hadn't arrived yet. And then everyone said like, "Oh no, but you'll meet her next time." And then, as we know, she passed away not long after, which was I'm very sad I didn't get to meet her. But I'm very glad that she. It seemed like she approved of this little cameo, and that made all the difference to me. The fact that she.
So she got to see the movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
that's cool.
got to see the clip and that
Oh,
she
nice,
yeah.
nice.
So that meant a lot to me. But yeah, in terms of prep, I read most of her books because Carrie Fisher wrote some books, and I watched all the interviews on YouTube from when she was younger, and plus watching the old films on repeat again and again and again.
Yeah, and you looked at her career from beginning to end. She would remember the lines like to a T. It was super cool. Because I've watched a lot of her videos, like her interviews and
yes.
stuff like that. So I was reading that. Are you big into math? Like you're a big math whiz? Is that true?
No.
No.
I,
All right. My,
I would say that's the only
information
subject I
was
didn't like
wrong.
at school. school. I liked all the other subjects except maths.
Okay.
Math is like my Achilles heel. I heard that there's like a thing that where we process math in the brain is very close to the fair center of our brain. So there's a theory that says that some people get like an extra anxiety because there can be a crossover. So it's like more prone to fear. At least that's an explanation I like. Yeah, I always, I don't know, got very scared when the teacher asked me math
You're all,
questions.
no. All right.
Not me.
My information wrong.
That's fine.
No. So you said you got your master's degree too, right?
I have a master's.
In
yeah.
what?
In well, I did first the history of ideas, which is like philosophy and history,
Yeah.
literature and politics, and then I did media for development and social change. So that's more behind the camera, like doing like documentaries for non-profit organizations and photography and global studies and yeah.
Do you have a passion project, like of a documentary that you want to do?
Yes.
Are we allowed to talk about that now?
Yeah, I think so. It's the next project that I'm gonna delve into is a series on immortality because I'm very interested in everything that has to do with the future and future generations and thinking about those who will inherit and also like the limits of our species, like how far we can go and the fact that we're conscious and how amazing that is. That and you know, so I'm very interested in those kinds of topics. So me and my partner, we're gonna create a immortality series, like several episodes, interviewing people and like just exploring this, but also in a fun way, not just like the dry, boring documentary, but try to have a crossover with the best from fiction and narration and also the science of what we know, and that's the beauty of sci-fi. Like that sometimes there's someone who's thought of something brilliant, and then later on it becomes real. You know, so we need those narratives to dream, to think that this can happen.
Well, it's fun that you're kind of outside of the box and trying to make something super fun, because that is what makes sci-fi so fun.
Yes.
Is that the sky's the limit.
Yes,
And
definitely.
seeing if they have anything. We do have a.
We probably have a lot of questions, so we'll probably open it up soon. I don't know how much time we have.
No, we got plenty of time.
Okay.
So we're a podcast, and we have a lot of listeners in Norway. And when they had heard we were going to interview you, they just jumped for joy, and they sent us an email that we were going to try to read. But I believe it's a butcher, but it's a question they wanted to ask.
This is going to be a weird one since I'm reading Norwegian.
So hopefully tell us if we do it wrong.
Okay,
But
okay.
why not, right?
Why not? Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Geworden har du det idag? Hi, welcome, Ingvild. How are you today, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Du är den coolaste gente i norr. Tack för Princess Leia. Can you tell me what it said?
You're the coolest girl in Norway.
I got it. Okay, let's
Thank
go.
you for Princess Leia.
Exactly. Vad liker du best med norr? I don't know why I'm rolling my
Yeah.
eyes.
What do you like the most about Norway?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Or
So
should I
what do
answer?
you like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to, yeah, it'd be great.
I like nature, the nature, and the fact that there's still a lot of nature.
Yeah, that's right.
That's my favorite part.
Okay, so let's see. Have you ever been to Svartensund? It's a beautiful place in Norway, and you're always welcome to my hometown, the city of Kristiansund.
Yeah, that's pretty close to where my parents live.
And Johnny also says,
Kind.
how much did your life change in Norway after you got the role in Star Wars and Avengers?
Well, I have been living in Norway since,
Oh,
so it's a
Completely
hypothetical.
changed.
Yeah.
okay. If you could play another icon in a different movie series, which character would you choose?
If I could play another person in another
Yeah,
series.
not necessarily like the capture, but
Lord of the
a role.
Rings. Lord of the Rings. Definitely.
okay.
I really like Lord of the Rings.
All right, that's good.
I could be like a hobbit because I'm the right size for that. Like a brave hobbit
Yeah.
on a pony.
Oh, no.
like smashing
All right. This
something.
this is the last bit of Norwegian, and I'll promise I'll stop.
No, it's great. You're doing great.
Jeger veldig stolt deg for representere Norge. I'm very proud of you representing Norway. Love, Johnny, aka the Norwegian Titan, aka your biggest fan.
Aw.
Shout out to Johnny.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting us do it. They were really excited about that. So.
No,
and
yeah.
they were
Thank
like-
you for delving into a new language.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna do it because I knew I was gonna butcher it. They don't even let me read emails on the show. So, I have a couple of Hardly Heroes questions that are kind of fun that I want to know if
Sure.
I can ask you.
Go ahead.
So, what is your favorite superhero? Or favorite hero?
Like, okay, define like superhero. Could it be like from any
Whatever you want it to
film or
be.
franchise? Like
It could be-
someone that has like heightened powers.
It
But
can be whatever
okay.
you want. It could be a regular person.
I really like Trinity from The Matrix.
Ooh.
That's
Oh.
yeah, I really like The Matrix. The first one is one of my favorite films ever. And she was like, when I saw her, like, I was quite young when it came out, but I was really impressed by her. She's like a good role model. And who else? I like that very eccentric. I can't really. I've forgotten his name. There's a very eccentric wizard in the Lord of the Rings books. The one with Radagast. You know, the one with all the animals.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's really cool in the books.
I love how you said the
I
name.
like-
Yeah, can you say it again?
Yeah.
Radagast.
Uh,
I think that's his name.
Are you excited for the new? They're coming out with the new Matrix movie.
with,
Yes.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in it. I didn't know that. I'm excited. I mean, I'm always nervous when they reboot stuff. I don't really. I wish that there was just less rebooting happening and just more new stories. But I also understand from a monetary point of view, you want to bet on a horse that has won the race before. So, but yeah, I like the Matrix a lot. I want to see what the Wachowski sisters can do. So
Yeah.
I want to.
I am with you on that though. I like new, original like type of stories. It just makes it a lot
Yes.
of fun. Then we have your favorite villain.
I don't know why I did that.
I know. I was like, oh, I'm excited.
And I was like, blank.
I was like, this one's gonna be
good
crazy.
villain. I don't know. You know, like the Watchmen, like Dr. Manhattan sort of turns into a villain. That's kind of a cool story. Like his journey of like becoming a super conscious, like he going from human to God, and then how that creates a different outlook on everything, and sort of
Bravo.
I think
Immortality.
Yeah.
maybe that's the
That's
top
a-
of my head.
That's a great pull. That was really good. That was awesome. Then the next one would be, what would be your superpower?
My superpower.
Yeah.
Could it be immortality?
That's fine.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like if you can gain immortality, then you can work on all the other skills as you go. Like you have infinite amount of time to figure out the rest.
Wouldn't it be
So-
hard though? Seeing everybody you love around you. That's the only bad part about it.
Yeah, it would be hard, but I think I would just put them in some kind of like cryo sleep, and then see if I can, as I get like more and more advanced, I can find the technology to revive not only them but everyone, and then everyone can get a chance at, if they want to be immortal, they can.
Yeah.
That would be
Now,
that would be nice.
with the whole immortality thing, this, what age would you stop wanting to age at?
Like body wise.
Yeah, or would you want to like be able to like go to a certain age and then reset? I would think of more of it be like one age you would stay for the rest of your life.
I think in terms of the body, maybe like 25, like everything is functioning, like
No aches, no pains.
yeah, like everything is good. But then I hope my brain can like go on and just keep on learning, and yeah,
Yeah, that'd be terrible. I
because
didn't think about that.
there's a lot of things you haven't learned yet when you're 25, like you. So I want the continuation, but the body would be nice if it could stay 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay there. So the next one that I have, this one's probably the weirdest one of them all. If there's a zombie apocalypse, what would be your weapon of choice?
Ooh. Well, I guess it's like could I just like get any weapon like straight away, or like would it be like just like that?
Yes, you could just do that. If you could do that, or up to you, you make your own weapon.
I think I'd like take shelter. Like that would be the best. Like find a really nice fortification where I could grow
Like a
food.
fortress.
Yeah, like just stay out of it. Like like yeah, get to a safe zone and stay there and try and I don't know find a cure for the virus or something.
Nice. That's
Always trying to help out.
yeah. I interviewed one time Beverly Washburn, and she said an ice cream scoop, and I was like, why? She's like, I would just give every zombie ice cream, and hopefully they wouldn't eat me. And I was rolling. I thought it was the cutest thing ever.
That's very cute.
Because she's like, I was like, you're gonna gouge your eyes out, and she's like, of course not. You know what I mean? So that was super cute. But
Yeah, that's
it's
good
always fun to hear people's
Yeah,
reactions.
I like your questions.
The ladies of Glow said Twinkies and Snickers. Because they said they would just feed the zombies and hopefully they wouldn't eat them. That was pretty funny. So
Yeah,
it's always fun.
it's always fun.
Yeah. I just wanted to open it up to the crowd and see if you have any. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to check out Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland?
No, I haven't. I went to Disneyland for the very first time in my life 2 years ago, and that was right before that part of the park had opened. So, but I would really very much like to see what that's like. Yes.
Yeah, they'd be excited to have you too. They'd be like, oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah. No, I would really like to go.
Yep.
How has the fan reception been to carrying on Carrie Fisher's legacy?
It's been good, but I'm selective. Like I never read comments. I don't like Google myself. I just sort of stay out of it. So I'm sure there's a lot of different opinions, but at least the kinds of conversations I've had with people on conventions have been very, very positive, and for me that's a huge relief because it's a touchy subject, and it was like no way of telling how fans would react. But so far it seems that there's been at least people that, there are people that like it, and that's great.
Here's a kind of a follow-up. Do you have a favorite part of being part of the Star Wars universe now? I mean, you're in it, whether you like it or not, you're part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I think the enthusiasm and the love like that you feel in a convention, and like the care that people have, I think that's the best part. Like just the care for each other and the love for the story and the universe, and like all the fun and good things that can come out of it, like charity and people coming together. That's my favorite part.
You have more Star Wars stuff coming up that you want to talk about?
If I did, I couldn't say.
I had to try.
So it's
Do we have more
That's
questions?
No, I didn't even think about it. Because I know a lot of people do. I was just so chuffed to be there. I was super excited. I think I forgot to even consider it. But one thing that I would really have liked to have kept was the boots. Because they gave me some really cool boots, the ones that Princess Leia have, and they're really nice. So yeah,
That's really
I
cool.
would have liked to have the boots.
Did you meet a lot of people on set? It's always weird with this new age of
Yeah.
filmmaking and everything's digital.
Yeah, on the set, most things were real, but there weren't that many other people involved in that scene. So there were a lot of rebel soldiers, and the director was there. But most of the other people I met at the premiere in London. So there I met most of the cast, which was wonderful. But yeah, on the shoot day itself, it was me and Gareth and the rebel soldiers, which was great.
Did you get to see Darth Vader on
Yes.
set?
Yes. Well, he was on set that day, and then I met him later on too. Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow. Oh, wow. Sorry.
I was like fanboying out and just like, wow. More questions? Nice Han Solo outfit, cosplay, that's
I
good.
know, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that's
Solo, like,
that's one of the best costumes I've seen. It's amazing.
What do you have coming up? Any? Oh, sorry. You have a question?
Have you met George Lucas?
I, 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 I was at Skywalker Ranch one time, and he was there, but I was looking at the Indiana Jones collection, and he walked right past me. So yeah, he was there, but I didn't see him per se. And then my friend was like, "This George Lucas," like, huh? And then he didn't turn the corner. But yeah, it was great just to be there and look at the stuff he has.
That's cool. It's like you fast track to be like the most iconic person in Star Wars. That's crazy. So, can you tell us what you have coming up? What are some projects you're working on?
Sure. Yeah, I'm working on. Aside from the Immortality thing, documentary, I'm working on sort of a Viking assassin sci-fi thriller spy thing. It's a web series, and it's called Out of Place Artifact. The first episode is coming out soon. So if you like that kind of thing, check it out.
I think we like all those things.
Yeah, that's like everything mixed into one.
Yes, it's a very sort of experimental project, but I think it's really cool. And then the other project is it's more like pure Viking series, and it's set in Norway. It's more sort of historical, but it's more lighter in tone because a lot of the Viking series are very like and like quite sort of gory. This has a lot of fighting and action, but it's a little bit lighter. It's more like a western in the tone, but it's completely Viking. And so that's gonna be we're gonna start filming springtime, and it's gonna be like in English, but all made in Norway, like with like Norse accents and some Norse slang. And we have like a Viking ship and a lot of Vikings, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So I play. It's called Sigrid and the Vikings. So it's like early days, but it's gonna start filming in springtime. So
will that be a movie or a series?
A series, yes.
Oh, very
yes.
cool.
So if you follow me on social media, there might be like we will keep updating there. Yeah.
That's really cool. So, jumping back to you. So, how long have you been here in the States?
Well, I come and I go. So this time I was here like almost 2.5 months. Yeah, it's the longest I've been in one go.
What's been like the weirdest thing for you, being from Norway, coming here to the States? You're like, wow, Americans do that really weird. Like,
wow, that's a good question.
or like, wow, we have a lot of kombucha here.
Yeah. I think it's hard to get used to the traffic, like just the sheer amount of cars, because I grew up on the countryside and I really like nature. So the busyness of LA and the cars and the traffic is a bit difficult. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that is new to me or different.
Very cool. Isn't the weather really brutal in Norway?
Well, the weather, it's quite cold in the winter, but it's a dry kind of cold, so it's not as bad as if it's humid. But in the summer it gets warm, but not as warm as here. Like nowhere near as warm as it gets here. But it has more like clear-cut seasons. Yeah.
Cool. So outside of your career, what keeps you busy? Like, what do you like to do for fun? You mentioned nature. Are you experiencing California nature? Or?
Yes. Well, I sing as well, so I'm in 2 bands, so collaborating with 2 bands. I brought some LPs. If anyone is like a vinyl enthusiast, I have handmade vinyls from Germany.
Wow.
But yeah, so I sing and I write, and I like to draw as well, but I did that a lot when I was younger, trying to get back into that. And yoga and watching films.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what kind of music do you play?
The UK band, it's a bit harder to explain because every song is sort of its own thing, but I'd say it's like classic rock, electronica, psychedelic pop with some bluesy undertones.
That's awesome.
And the Brazilian band is more like folk music or world music, because I really like folk, music from all over the world, and I want to learn different kinds of traditions. So yeah, we do like a blend of like old French songs, Norwegian songs, Swedish, Finnish, what have you. So yeah.
That's incredible. I love how everything you do is like a mixture of other things.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like to mix it up.
Any more questions out there? Anything crazy? Please.
Yes, I really like to dress up, and it's something I've been experimenting with more lately. I've actually never done like cosplaying because whenever I go to a Comic-Con, I'm here as me, so it's kind of hard. But I should do like a maybe incognito, like just take a break and just walk around. I don't know, but
Maybe dress up as Princess Leia.
I don't know if I'm allowed to. Really, that's a good question. Maybe they wouldn't like it. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, there's a kind of a liberty that comes with cosplaying. Like you get to try to be someone else. You get to forge this new persona, and it's amazing what clothes can do, and makeup and hair. And I think it's something that we all should be able to do freely, not just at Comic Cons, but that sort of became accepted. That I want to be a wolf today. Like why not? Like tap into your wolf nature or whatever you want to be. Maybe with virtual reality that would be easier. That we can just do that more with avatars and so on. But I think there's a liberating power there, and I'm so glad that at least it happens at Comic Cons, like we're sort of spearheading this trend of like being whoever you want to be. So yeah, but I really like it, and I bought 2 weeks in LA, so I'm playing around with weeks every now and then just to see what that feels like.
Very good. Very cool.
Is there a holiday in America that you were super excited about? Like 4th of July is like one of my favorite holidays, or like
Yes.
Thanksgiving or something like that, Halloween.
Halloween.
But yeah, I don't know. Is there any like back home that are like big, and maybe I can give our Norwegian friends about like a big holiday?
Yeah, I'd say Norway, Christmas is the big one. Like we're very,
Christmas?
very serious about Christmas. We got all kinds of like very set traditions. But we don't. Halloween is coming, but it's not as like consolidated as it is here. I've never been in the US for Halloween. I can imagine that would be quite fun.
Oh,
Like yeah,
yeah.
that would be the holiday I'd like to explore. Like be here and just immerse myself.
Yeah, me and my wife are going to Maui for Halloween Rose, but they make it like a big deal.
Oh,
And I
right.
had never known, like, Halloween's big, but I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's all I'm gonna say.
No.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I saw somebody saying, sorry. With everything you got going on and all of your projects, ideas that you have going on, is there anything else besides that of maybe you want to do outside of acting, a project that you're really passionate about?
No, I think I really would like to continue like doing more like documentary stuff.
Mhm.
I think that's something that really intrigues me, or to sort of again like use the best of fiction to make people think about the bigger questions of life. And stories are great for that. So if I can just go deeper into that, it doesn't have to be always as the actress, but in any capacity, helping those projects, and also projects that are like from around the world, or exploring just other points of view, whether it's another culture or what it's like to be another animal, or AI. Like I'm really interested in that shift of perception and create that in people. That's I think very meaningful and interesting.
Awesome. Yeah,
That's it.
that's it. Yeah, is there anything you want to plug, talk about, like that you have up and coming that you wanted to tell anybody about, or following you on social media or anything?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you want, you can check out my Instagram. I'm not very good with social media, but if I do feel inclined to follow anything to post anything, that's the place to follow me. I think.
Nice.
Yeah, that's. I think I'm so glad that I got to talk to you guys and listen to your questions, and thank you for sitting here and listening to me babbling on.
Yeah. And make sure you guys stop by her table and
Yeah, please do.
I know she got pictures and stuff for autographs, so thank you so much.
Thank you guys, and
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so much.